713 hustling all day in the building. We got a special guest in here with us right now, Miss Nala Rose. How you doing?
Good.
You gotta do better than that.
I'm nervous, y'all.
You live right now.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
What's going down?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. So, who is Nala Rose?
Me.
I see you about to have one of those type of interviews today.
So, I don't know what you want me to say.
Like, what do you do?
I'm a singer.
Singer.
And a songwriter and an artist and a creative person.
How long have you been singing and writing and being a creative person?
Since 2015.
2015, so you're new to the game pretty much.
I'm very new. Actually, I've always written music. I've always sang, but never in front of anybody. So this is my first time like putting something out, being serious about writing, and actually putting something down to release. So
okay. So what made you want to make that step and get out there with it?
Oh, a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah. So I guess back in, I want to say like 2014, I had a client of mine hit me up to do a CD cover. So then he asked me he was like, hey, do you have any music? You sound like you can sing. And I was like, what? How do you sound like you can sing? And he was like, no, or it went something like that. So I was like, man, I do actually have some old stuff that I kind of just played around with. And when he heard it, he was like, man, I got to get you on a track. So he was doing his album at the time, and he asked me to feature on the album. So I fought for a long time. I was like, no, I'm nervous. I'm not going to do it. I can't sing, blah, blah, blah. He was like, you're crazy. So I went in, did it. Then when I went in, the engineer, shout out to Circle Music Group, and Major, that's my producer, and or he's produced all my music thus far, and that's who I was featured on his album. And so when I went in the studio and did the song, the engineer also was like, Sean, the Circle Music Group was like, man, why you not doing your own stuff? And I was like, well, I don't think I'm that great of a singer. Like, I was very shy, didn't have any confidence. I'm still working on that, but I'm getting there. And so they were both pushing me, and they were like, nah, you really need to do something. So they kind of helped me out, and Major gave me the track for How Much, and I wrote something real quick, like in 5 minutes. I didn't even think it was going to be anything like big, or whatever. And so I just wrote it, and then Sean was like, yeah, come in and record it. We're going to do something, make some magic happen. Went in there and did that. Took me a while to release the song because I was just like, man, I don't want anybody to hear this. Like, I don't even want to hear myself sing. And then finally I just released it. I got mad love back for it. Like, everybody was like, man, like, where were you with music a long time ago? So that's how that went. And then my manager, which is my brother, he hit me up and he was like, yeah, we need to get on this, like, real talk, like, seriously. So he hit me up, and that's when we started like really working on music and working on the projects. And I got the same team, same engineer, same producer for all my music. So we just been going from there. So
going into the studio that first time, I know you said, he was like, you sound like you can sing, right? So going into the studio for the first time, did you know that you could sing, or it just kind of came out like, I didn't even know I had it like this?
Let me tell you, if you talk to him, he would be like, she was a piece of work. Because I was so nervous, and he was like, I can tell you're not giving your all. Like, I can tell you're not pushing. Like, you sound wonderful, but you got so much more to give. And so, like, everybody really just kind of has been working with me and like pushing me and encouraging me, saying like, you sound better than you think. You're your own worst critic. And I'm an artist, like, not just music wise, but in almost every area that I can do art in. And so I'm very hard on myself, just like any artist. And I'm a perfectionist for one, and I mean I want everything to sound perfect. Because when I listen to other people's music, I'm like, that was a bad note. That was off key.
Like to critique it.
Yeah, so for me it's even harder because I'm like, I know what can come out, and so I'm kind of hesitating in the studio, like holding back. And so that's been kind of one of the major things I've been trying to work on, is being able to push forward through all that. And I've had a lot of encouragement and a lot of support from everybody, so it's getting easier, and I got a bunch of new things that I'm getting ready to come out with, so the EP and everything. So
let's speak on the EP and upcoming projects. Like when is your EP set to come out?
I don't have a set date yet because I do want to do it at the right time. As you know, I'm very serious about my music. I'm very serious about what I'm saying in my music, and just being able to take my time and make sure I think everything out and through, and making sure that it's something that people are going to want to hear. So once I perfect that, I still got a couple of songs to record, but it should be done very soon, this week, hopefully.
This week?
But I probably won't release the EP probably for maybe another couple months or so, because I just want to get everything right, because it's my first project where people are really going to be able to hear me as an artist and see what I'm doing, what I'm working with, what kind of music I'm writing, what kind of sound I have, and all that stuff. So
okay, what made you go with the EP route instead of like the traditional? A lot of artists for the first time, they feel like they got to drop a mixtape, or they just jump out there with a single, or just straight to an album. What made you decide to do an EP?
I mean, I did a single. I did 2 singles, which are going to be on the EP as well. But I got a few new songs that I'm doing that I'm really excited about. And I really wanted to make it a small project because it's like, this is me. Like, I didn't feel like, a mixtape would do. I'm not really ready to do an album just yet. People don't know who I am. I don't know who I am in music yet. I'm still trying to figure things out and still just kind of getting into the groove. Like I said, I just did my first real song in 2015 with How Much, and released that, and I didn't even expect to be going this far. Like, I never would have thought I would have, 1, released a song at all, and then 2, be even working on more music like this. So but I wanted to do an EP just so that it could be something that people could hear to kind of get a feel for me, who I am as an artist, the type of writer I am, and like I said, just getting a feel for everything before I release something big or something that's probably a little bit more intense, which this is probably going to be intense for a lot of people.
Right. So would you say your support group is what helped you build your confidence up? Because I know, a lot of artists, it's kind of hard for them to take that step. Like, they don't want to perform, or like they record a lot of music, but they don't want nobody to hear it, so they don't put it out. But having somebody behind you, is that what help you push yourself to actually release it, EP?
Most definitely. Like, I definitely would not have been doing this if it was not for the support that I've had. All my friends, family, people that I don't even know, like, that hear my music, like, they'll send me emails or messages through my website and YouTube, and people commenting, but a lot of people say nice stuff or encouraging stuff, so it's really been helpful, because you don't have confidence. You like, okay, I already don't have confidence, and then you don't get any feedback from people, then it's kind of like, well, it's what I thought, so I'm not going to do any more. But I got way more love and support, and people were just coming out the woodworks like, man, I love that song. Like, I really enjoy your music. And so that's been really helpful for me to, like, push and go forward. Like, I definitely need that support to keep going, to keep pushing, because it's hard. Like, you doubt yourself. You're like, I already doubted myself in the beginning, so it's like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Do I really want to do this? Not want to do it because I love making music. Like, I'm going to do it regardless, but
right.
Putting it out, so.
And you do write all your own music, right?
Yes.
Where does, like, the motivation come from to be able to do that? Like, where does the inspiration come from?
I only write about things that I can relate to, that have happened in my life, that I've gone through. A lot of artists, are writing just about general stuff. I dig deep and I write from the deepest parts. And I think, the first two songs I put out, they're very introductory because they're not really that intense. What About Love is probably more intense than How Much because I dug a little deeper for that one. But the other songs that I have that are on my EP get very personal, very intimate, and they really tap into who I am as a person, where I came from, my testimony, as far as things that I've been through, and just trying to help other people to see that light and see those things.
Right. So I want to get into a song. Just kind of let everybody know what it is that you are able to do. So I want you to pick the song what you want us to play. You got two on the tables right now. Which one you want to go first?
I feel like a lot of people love How Much more than What About Love, and I think because the groove of that song, like when I heard that beat, I was just like, oh my God, like I fell in love. I was like, I don't even want to sing on this music. Like I just want to just put this out and just be like, listen to this. But I think we can go with that one because I think that's the one that people really were feeling. I definitely got a lot of love on that one. It was the first one, but I think that one is the one.
Well, let's get into it. How Much by Nyla Rose on the THESYRUPROOM. That was How Much by Nyla Rose. So you say you wrote that song in 5 minutes? 5 minutes, that's all it took?
It might have been a little bit longer than that to perfect it, but I pretty much got all the words out, and it doesn't take me long to write a song because I'm pulling from my personal experiences. Like right. I'm not trying to think of something to make up. Like I'm pulling from how I actually feel, and me always writing, like being a writer, just in general, like writing journal entries and things like that, and just putting an artistic perspective on the way I write. It's not hard to make some words rhyme and go to a beat,
So like, what's your process? Do you you have like a notebook and you just like scribble rhymes in your notebook and then hear a beat and place them with the song, or do you just listen to the beat and go off the beat? Or do you just like freestyle it? Like go in the studio, be like one take, Jay-Z, just lay it all out there.
I'm kind of all over the place. Sometimes I will listen to the beat and I will try to make words to that. So I'll come up with a melody and then, write to that melody. Or I just, I write all the time. So sometimes if I get a beat, then I already have the words written from a bunch of stuff, and I'll just get on my little notepad from my phone and I'll see if there's anything that matches how I feel about the song that I've already written. So if it does, then I'll go in there and maybe I'll pick the hook from it or some of the words, and it'll inspire something else. And then I'll write from there. It's just whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And I write in my phone. I have so much music in my phone, like voice recordings, notes.
Is it easy for you to transfer that to beats once you hear like a certain beat? Like,
oh, yeah.
Is it easy for you to go back and go off of pre-recorded songs and pre-written songs and match them up?
It's all inspiration. Like nothing is set in stone. So when I'm writing or when I'm listening to what I have already in my library, I'm just listening for inspiration or pulling from my own stuff, because I'll hear melodies in my head just like while I'm walking around or doing other stuff, and I'll pull from that.
Okay. So how does it benefit you having a manager? Because, the average artist that's up and coming, people usually don't get managers until they reach a certain level of success, but you coming in the game with a manager, like how does that benefit you?
Let me tell you, so my manager in particular is, he's very knowledgeable about the music industry. He's very knowledgeable about recording. He had his own studio. He's managed other artists and produced other artists, engineered other artists. So he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to music in general. But also, he's always looking for ways to to find and help invest in me because he believes in what I'm doing. I mean, it's my brother too, so you know,
Right.
Can't nobody look out for me like my
It's like the
brother's
best of
gonna
both
look out.
worlds.
Right. Like and he's serious about what he's doing, and but I know he means me well. Like he's not gonna side on me or whatever. But also, I'm very timid, and I don't speak up for myself a lot of times, except when it comes to my music, because I don't play games when it comes to that. I'm like, no, it don't sound right. But so a lot of times I have people try to get over on me, or you know, handling the business side of stuff, and he takes care of that. Like I don't have to. I mean, sometimes he'll be like, yeah, say this, or you know, if that's how you feel, like make sure you say that, and you know, he'll encourage me and push me to speak my mind, which is another part is just helping me to develop as a person and not just an artist. Like being able to speak up for myself. And handling the business side of stuff.
Okay, so do you rather have it like that then, since you don't want to speak too much on certain.
I mean, you know, sometimes there's points where you got creativity and then you got the business side, and you don't want things to come in between that. So, but I mean, I don't really, the people that I work with consistently, I really don't have an issue with that. Like, you know,
You're comfortable around them already.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. I build a relationship with these people. They look out for me. You know, I know that they mean the best, and I call them my team because I couldn't do it without them. You know, like
right.
I've used the same people for everything that I've done up to this point. So
do you have any artists that you look at as like inspiration, like anybody that you listen to, or you know, anybody you rocking with right now?
Right now, at the moment, to be honest, I really don't listen to music like that. Like, I could not tell you the new songs that are out unless I'm hearing it from somebody else or it just happened to pop up on my feed. I'm very into throwback artists. I mean, like, I love Stevie Wonder, I love Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. So if I am listening to music, I'm going back and listening to those type of tracks. But I don't really listen to people nowadays because you know, I feel like everybody sounds the same. I really don't want that kind of stuff influencing my music because I know sometimes it just happens unintentionally. But I like everything to be kind of pure and just coming from me, and so keeping that separate. And I love music. I enjoy music so much. So I pull from inspiration from different places, but I really don't typically keep up with the new artists and the new trends, unless somebody's like, "Hey, have you heard this? Did you listen to this?" Or
right.
Whatever.
So I mean, it makes sense. So like, you know, based off of what you just said, what do you think about like today's R&B music compared to what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago? But not just that everybody sound the same, but even just like the substance things that they talk about, the subject matter. Like, what you think about it?
I mean, everybody's talking about the same stuff, like sex and cheating and somebody. I mean, it's always somebody cheating, you know, and which is relevant, like, you know, but.
Side chicks in style now.
Yeah, like that's not what's up. That's not how I live. That's not what I'm about. So I can't really relate to it. If I like something, it's typically because of the beat or whatever, and I like the way the person sounds, but the lyrics don't have any substance. Like right. I'm like, what does that add to my life? Like, I mean, I could groove to it, but other than that, it's like what?
That's about it.
That's it.
I mean, it's not like love songs no more. It's like R&B these days is like turned up club songs, high tempo beats. It's not like the slow, like, man, I'm finna chill with my girl.
Everybody just trying to fuck these days.
That's all it is, huh?
Just put it out there.
It ain't what it used to be. Well, I guess you can say the same about the rap game too right now.
Yeah, it's been like that.
Oh man, that's so saturated. Hey man, somebody said that the new rap music is going to become the country. Like the country is going to become the new rap scene.
What?
Country?
Country music is supposed to become the new rap scene. That's what I heard.
I didn't hear about that one. But Lonzo Ball did say that artists like Nas is irrelevant, real hip hop is Young Thug and 21 Savage.
But why?
What? That's real hip
hop.
How?
But
where?
You gotta understand though, he what, 18 years old, so that's what they came up on that era. Like they didn't have like Jay-Z and Tupac. They had 21 Savage. My little nephew thinks 21 Savage the best rapper in the world. Like,
oh wow.
He know lyrics.
Who is 21 Savage?
21.
Just, if ever you see a dude with like a knife right there in the middle of his head,
Oh.
that's 21 Savage.
It's a knife.
Like a tattoo? Oh.
I try to stay in
It
tune
could be
with
a
like the new
permanent
music.
walker, though. I don't know.
Nah, it ain't that
It
permanent.
ain't no permanent.
It ain't that permanent. I like 21 Savage. I ain't gonna lie. I listen to a lot of the new artists. I listen to everybody, everything, any music. You put it in front of me, I'm gonna listen to it. I don't always
That's
like
what's
it
up.
though, but
So you fucking with the Uzi Vertical.
oh, so you try. I like Lil Uzi, man. Like that one song go hard.
Yeah, one song. What about Peekaboo?
Wait, sing it?
Peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo.
Are these real songs?
What's that? That's the most craziest thing I ever heard in my life.
I played the booty tape.
Yeah. What's the dude name?
Oh, you must be talking about Ugly God.
Ugly God.
Ugly or some shit.
Ugly God.
Where that nigga came from?
That's where we at in the world right now.
From Houston.
No, I'm just
Gotta bring the
kidding.
real back. The real is back.
I'm
huh?
trying to bring that old school 90s R&B back.
So do you have any subliminal messages in your music?
Oh, you want to get into that?
Are you shooting any slugs? I mean, I just want to know.
I mean, I have tons of
Subliminals.
in my music. Nobody would really, unless they asked me like what something means, like you would just listen to it and be like, oh, it's a generic song. But when I write, I write subliminal.
I caught one,
You caught
but
one?
we can't play that song today. But I caught it.
Why we can't play the
What
song
you-
today? Where it's at? I want to hear
Oh,
it
is it one
now.
of my new songs?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I caught it.
You caught? I don't know. I got a lot of stuff, man.
But
It's
that's but
real personal.
for subliminals to be in R&B, I think that's like a good thing though, because it got a deeper message. You know,
Yeah.
and most songs don't even have a message these days. So to have a message and then have a deeper message within it, I think that's like some dope stuff right there.
Yeah, well, I definitely got some very deep, personal messages in my music.
Right. I mean, you're speaking about true life events, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
You ain't bust the windows out in anybody's car, did you?
No.
Alright, I just
I'm a
making
lover,
sure.
not a fighter. Unless you get my bad side. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody
Pretty
that
sure
says
that's
that ends
everybody.
up being the complete opposite.
What?
It's a facade.
No. I'm really an easygoing person. Like, it's really hard to make me mad. And
But-
if you do, it took a long time for me to get there. And once I get to that point,
It's over with.
I'm done. I'm out of there.
Well, let's hope you don't get to that point today. We're going to keep everything smooth during the rest of this interview.
No,
We don't want to see you get to that point
Well,
on live.
no, we don't have none of that. It would take a long
So let's talk about Wall, or What About Love?
Wall. Wall.
You sent it to me, W-A-L.
Yeah, I said it is. I mean, who wants to say what about love? Like, that's a long
That's the
name.
name of the song.
I'm talking about walls.
No. Wait, what? What's happening right now?
What About Love? What's the meaning behind this song?
Oh, so, man, you really want me to go into that?
Yeah, why not?
So basically, I have been in quite a few relationships,
Right.
and consistently, you know, and even just in these days and times with the new R&B type stuff, like talking about cheating and giving up and all that kind of stuff, I really wanted to bring the meaning back to what true love is. And it kind of has a mixed message in it because it's talking about my personal experiences with my different relationships. I've been with several guys that have cheated several times, and
It's in style these days.
you know, I'm not with
Hey, this shit
that
ain't cool,
style.
though.
I'm not with it.
This is not what's up.
I'm not with it at all.
See, this circle right here, you know what I'm saying? We on some different vibes.
Right. Okay.
100%.
I'm just okay. I'm not with it though. So, but basically, like, what I'm coming from with this whole EP is basically talking about my mental disorders, if you will.
Mental disorders, okay.
So, I have a bit of a history of, you know, I
Craziness?
have no.
Okay.
I have had a past of being abused, growing up, and as well as in different relationships. I've been in relationships that have been physically abusive, that have been verbally and emotionally abusive. And so in that, I have come to the point where it's taken me a long time to get to this point, because I just kept saying, man, like, why do these guys keep doing me like this? Like, why am I continuing to go through this? And it ended up being like me coming to the point being like, well, you know what, it can't just be everybody else. Like, it got to be something I'm doing. And so when I thought about that, I was like, well, what am I doing? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I keep getting in these relationships? And so
y'all are so goofy.
that's him over here.
Just blame me.
It's a serious moment right now.
So
But,
personal.
Y'all made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, so to make a long story short, I wrote the song because basically, like, I have a situation that's called being codependent, and it's basically where you will do anything and everything for a person because you want to feel needed. You want to feel loved because you were lacking love in some place, and so you'll take whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of go more into that in the actual EP with some other songs, but sometimes you know, you get to a point where you just like, man, like, I'll take anything, and you don't realize it, like, you just kind of doing it. Like, that's all I've known for my entire life. That's all I've done. That's all I've, you know, gotten, and I was kind of like, anything is better than this type of thing.
Right.
And so I always stuck in the relationships no matter how bad they got. Like, I had one dude that cheated on me with probably like over 16 different women, I'm sure, you know, more than that. And I kept forgiving him. I kept like just sticking it out and trying to make things work. And so coming from that perspective, like, that's, you know, it's like, okay, people are willing to do this in a dating relationship. Like, I wasn't even married to these dudes, you know what I'm saying, like, sticking it out. But then I see so many people these days getting divorced, like, quick for no reason.
At an all-time high now.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And so I'm like, you know, even though I had the wrong mindset behind it and condition behind it because I'm working through something else, I know that's how it's supposed to be. I know that we're supposed to be stuck in a marriage, like sticking it out, not stuck, but sticking it out together and caring for each other. And so the song is talking about what about love, because mainly, like, when people start getting into that type of situation, it's just because they're being selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coming from their own perspective, like, well, man, like, you giving me too, like, you not giving me enough, and I'm giving too much. And I know I was talking to you about this before. I'm trying not to go too deep in this interview. I'm like trying to stay surface. Yeah. But basically, like, I feel like a lot of people these days, which it really frustrates me, you know, people are talking about compromise. Like, man, like, you supposed to compromise, and I think differently. Like, I feel like that's why people get divorced. I feel like that's why people break up. I feel like that's why people...
From compromising, huh?
Yeah, from compromising.
You say 100, 100.
You got to
give
100.
50, 100, 100.
If people go into relationships understanding that you get in a relationship to sacrifice, not compromise, but you making a sacrifice, then it's not me. Because as soon as that person is not doing something and you feel like you the only one compromising, then you're going to be like, man, I got to get out. Like, I can't keep doing this because you not giving me anything. You feel like, oh, well, every time you want to do this, I'm the one to give up. And, oh, every time you do this, I'm the one to give up. And, I mean, that's what it is. Like, if you got a mind of, I'm compromising, then you're going to feel some type of way when the person be like, well, that's not what I wanted to do. But if you sacrificing, then you like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the L on this one.
So what made you realize, like, man, like, this not right? Like, I'm experiencing this in every relationship. Like, it got to be a problem. Like what made you realize it's a problem? Because I feel like so many women go through that, but they just don't know that they going through it. You know, like, they feel like it's normal almost. You know.
You know what? One of my friends told me this because, I mean, my relationships they were all a repetitive thing. Like, it was just a pattern in all of them. Like, I kept getting cheated on. And it would always be this point, and I'd finally be like, all right, that's enough. And then I'd just be like, no, okay, I can keep going. Like, I keep pushing. I love this person. Like, I want to stick it out. And my friend told me, she said, you're not going to give up until you get tired. Like, until you really get tired of it. But it seemed like the more I pressed through each relationship, the more strength I built up to go through another relationship and take even more. And I was like, this is not right. Like, I'm seeing people out here who are living legit relationships that I know personally. They're godly relationships. They're, godly marriages, the way that the relationships were intended to be. And I never had an example of what a relationship should look like. So I was always like, anything is better than this. Like, I saw, and I was treated a certain way growing up. And so anything was better than that. And even though I had a standard in my mind, I almost had a bit of a battle because of who I am as a Christian, and knowing that I'm supposed to love people regardless, and then not knowing where to cut that line. You know what I'm saying? But when I learned what a relationship is supposed to look like on both ends, as far as like a man in his role and a woman in her role, then that's what kind of drew the line for me, because I was like, well, if these guys aren't doing this from the get-go and they're not showing that type of, who they are, then I just need to cut it. Like, that's not what I need to do. And then, but it was more so, that's more so now looking into like, where do I go from in the future? But it was more so a self, I guess, I don't know. I was looking at myself and evaluating myself, like, okay, what is causing me to do this? Like, why do I keep doing this? So I had to go back into my past and say, what makes me feel like this is acceptable? Like, right. What have I endured in the past, or what have I gone through, or what set this example for me? And once I did that, understanding myself better made me able to understand what I was putting up with and why I was putting up with it.
Okay, so those are, some of the factors that influenced this song, What About Love? Well, mainly did influence this song, right?
I mean, it's so much more than that, but I'm trying to keep it surface.
Keep it on the surface.
I can talk. But I don't want to give too much away, because I really do a lot of
might gotta write another song later on. Huh?
I mean, I got a lot of stuff in my EP that I'm talking about that it's all together. Like, it's one big story.
That was What About Love.
Yo, what's up? We back on the
Oh, she turned
back live. Like,
it's gonna go down now.
You in the syrup room.
From the first, when I first introduced her, she didn't want
to say shit.
She didn't want to say nothing. Now
She was eager to run the
the tables have turned. We might as well get a good interview in now. Why you feeling like that? She done had some turn up juice.
I digress.
The
faux energy that kicked in.
Wait, no, hold up. I'm not finna be exposing people now. Look, unless I use it, I'm gonna use some other names.
Okay, so
no, I was kidding.
I was gonna go into it.
Damn, so I was finna shoot one out there. I was finna shoot one out there.
I mean, what kind of questions y'all want to ask?
It was a dude named Bob you took to prom that I heard about.
Who is Bob?
My nigga Bob,
He's
bro.
Not putting no names out. Oh my God.
That boy Bob, bro.
Go ahead
Bob
with
the
your question.
Builder.
Bob the Builder.
We have 713 calling in to the certain room. The microphone is yours.
We not taking no calls.
No, I'm good. I was just playing. But I did hear a story about Bob the Builder and his prom situation.
You putting Bob on blast?
Yeah, I'm putting Bob on blast. Only because Bob not here right now. Bob needs you to die.
I'm trying to see where this is going.
Me
like,
too. I'm trying to figure
what are you
out.
getting at right now?
I don't know.
What's the next?
I was asking a question.
You got the floor right now.
I don't know. I don't want the floor.
What would you like to know about Bob?
I don't know.
In prom.
What that nigga would have prom?
What? You know
Man,
what?
let me be silly, man. I ain't saying shit all the time. This
Bob
whole
had
interview.
turquoise. A turquoise suit.
Don't forget my pimp hat.
And a pimp hat with a feather.
So,
Hey, he was fresh though. He is crying.
He don't never talk on no interviews. Now he want to talk. I got a co-host today.
Just for today only. Just for today only, man.
Alright.
I forgot where I was going next, man. He just completely threw me off all the way.
Well,
shots fired.
I tend to do that.
So, back to, you said you were exposing people. You had somebody to expose?
no, I said
Oh, you
I was
didn't?
not exposed.
Okay. I just trying to make sure I heard that right.
No, I'm not exposing people like that. You know.
Okay, so after you dropped this, well, we didn't even really get to speak too much on the EP. Do you have a title for it?
Yes, I do. I guess this is a little bit of personal information, but you know, having an abusive past and figuring, just kind of getting a lead on what my issues were, and going into that, and you know, speaking on like, why am I like this? Why do I keep going through these same type of relationships? For a long time, like, you know, people were like, man, maybe you should go to counseling. And I think that it's particularly in the black community, like a lot of people oppose counseling and, you know, seeking psychological help. And, you know, we're not meant to go through this stuff alone. Like, you know, it's people out here that have been through stuff, that have the credentials or have the insight and the wisdom to help you with this stuff. And so, you know, I sought help. And so that's what I'm kind of trying to do through my EP now, is like help people kind of get that initial, like, man, like, maybe I need to go see, or, you know, find some help, or kind of figure out more about myself and maybe why I'm into this, or why I'm doing this, and why I've had this kind of thing happen. But, so I started going to a recovery group, and it's called Celebrate Recovery, as well as, like, counseling and stuff. Just everything that has been revealed, me being in that group, and you know, the things that they focus on, the things that they help you through, and just all the different type of conditions that come out of being abused, like love addiction. Like, you would never think that, like, love addiction, like, what is that, you know what I'm saying? Which is actually one of the songs on my EP called Love Addict. I think you went over that a little bit, but yeah, so it's kind of just explaining, like, you know, what that looks like, what that feels like. Basically, you know, where being in a relationship, and for me personally, I'll speak for me personally, not having the love that I needed when I was growing up, and, you know, from a particular perspective, or the things that I should have been getting, not having that, it caused me to seek love in different ways. And, you know, some people seek love through sex, some people seek love through, money, drugs, anything else. I mean, reading stuff. Like, you could seek it in any way, just, you know, trying to fulfill this place, this empty place. And I always was like, man, well, you know, I got God, like, I got Jesus, I'm not empty, like, I know he fills me up, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't think anything was wrong with me, because I'm like, I have God, like, that's all I need to fill me up. But, you know, it came to be like, man, I have been trying to find love in all the wrong places. Like, I have been seeking love in the wrong way. And so I became addicted to love, like I'm a love addict. And so basically it's where almost like a drug addict, like you want those highs, like no matter what you got to go through, no matter who you got to become, no matter what you got to do to have those moments of feeling loved, like, or feeling appreciated, or feeling wanted. You'll be in something that's detrimental to your soul, to your health, like to the point where it drives you to want to commit suicide, or, like, you know, causing cancer, or causing all these different situations. And you don't understand, like, why are you sticking in this, and this person is not treating you the way you're supposed to be treated, and you giving all of yourself, and you are willing to sacrifice and do anything for this person, just for those moments where they're, you know, oh, you look beautiful today, oh, you know, I love you so much, like, you do so much for me, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, the rest of the time they cheating on you, lying to you, and slapping you around or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, just doing crazy stuff, and you willing to stick it out just for those moments of high. Like, just to feel those moments of love because you want it so bad because you didn't have it. And so, that's kind of what I talk about in the song is, you know, being a love addict and having a love addiction.
Some people just don't like to be alone. Like, they'll put up with anything just to not be by
Well, then they don't even be in a
themselves.
relationship.
They like to feel wanted.
Yeah, they want to feel wanted. So
That's not serious then, because if you can't be content with yourself and you can't be content, if you can't be content with yourself, you can't be content with nobody else. You're going to always be looking for something more. You're going to always be looking for something different. And you're never going to be satisfied. Like, you're never satisfied in that. And so if you're contenting yourself and you say, you know what, I don't need all that attention. I don't need all that extra, you know. Nah, man, I'm in a relationship. Like, you know, chill out with that or whatever. Like, and I mean, some relationships are acceptable, I feel like. But I think that needs to be a mutual discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in relationships with people, and the nice ones, not the ones that were bad. But, you know, we had a mutual friend or something, and, you know, it was cool. Like, it wasn't, or, you know, I found out who the person was, and it was cool. Like, it wasn't anything dramatic, and I knew that the person didn't mean any harm by it, so that was cool, but it's still a respect factor.
You mean any harm by associating with that person?
Yeah,
so do you feel like it's cool for, like, if you with somebody... I'm just asking the question, like, can the people you with, they have female friends, it's a good thing? Because I know some females don't like it, but some females
I don't feel like it's a problem, but I feel like there need to be some limitations. Like, if
like, you can't spend the night.
What?
What's your best friend in the group? I'm just asking because I see like a lot of the best friend things going on, and that's how I
do. We don't have no best friends. No, I'm your best friend. I ain't even spending the night, so if I ain't spending the night, we ain't having, no.
Got you.
No, but I feel like, you know, there's a certain type of respect you gotta have. Like, if a dude that I'm with has a friend that he's been friends with since, you know, he was 2 years old or whatever, and they cool, I'm like, okay, well, you know, she shouldn't be calling you after a certain time. Like, that's just a respect factor. You're not going to be with her alone somewhere. Like, no, you got a girlfriend, so, yeah, we could be cool. We could chop it up. Like, yeah, come hang out with us, whatever. Or, hey, I wanted to call and tell you about this or whatever. But that personal one-on-one stuff and you
can't do it.
No, that's a little bit too much.
It's not. Got you. It makes sense.
And that opens up the door, because when you have had a history with somebody, and I know this personally because I have been in relationships where they had that happen, you know, and you have a history with somebody and you don't have a boundary with them, like that, especially with women. I feel like women, I'll say men too, just people in general, because we're very...
Nah, not men, more women.
You don't even know what I'm about to say. You just want to put it on women. But I feel like we're very, we're very territorial. So, like, let's say I'm talking to a person every day, and then, like, we chopping it up every day, like, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in the picture and they're like, oh, you know, I really like you, I want to pursue you. That person gonna feel some type of way because they've been talking to you every day, and, you know, even though they might not be like, oh yeah, I have an attraction to you, but it's more so of like a territorial thing because you built a relationship with that person. And so think about if a person has had a long history with somebody and they have shared personal stories and experiences with that person, they gonna really feel some type of way if a girl come in or a guy come in and all of a sudden, oh, I love this person so much. Like, that's where people end up coming out the woodworks trying to be like, oh, how dare you let this person come, and I've been here all along. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you end up messing up the relationship because then you be like, oh, well, am I missing out on something? Like, I thought, well, I have had this person in my life my whole life. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much drama. So, like, I feel like you need to have those boundaries set before you get in a relationship. Like, hey, and I have guy friends, you know, and they all know, like, once Chanel get in a relationship, she go MIA. So, you know, that's just...
So, but doing music, all right, so, like, you doing music now. So, how would that affect your relationships doing music? Because, you know, you got to network, you got to communicate with different people, you got to be out here talking to this person. You're gonna have a million men wanna talk to you and be with you.
Before to somebody.
The fuck you looking at me?
I asked this question to the real Coco Chanel. I gotta ask it to you.
Excuse me. Well.
Nah, shout out to Coco Chanel though. The other one. This is Nyla Rose. This is not Coco Chanel. It's only Coco Chanel when she does graphics.
I was finna ask you that shit. I seen this shit on my bro. What the fuck going on right now?
Well, so I just like I said, like you gotta have some boundaries. Like if you going out and networking, I mean, no dude should be touching on me inappropriately, getting all up in my face inappropriate. If we having a business relationship, that's what it is. It's strictly business. Like, don't come on some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's anything wrong with networking. People go to work every day. You know what I'm saying? You deal with your coworkers that are.
There's some people that get in trouble for going to work. Like, you know. The workplace is where it go down.
I know.
With a lot of people.
I know. I know because you seeing these people every day and working with them. That's why I say you gotta be content in yourself, and you gotta have your own boundaries already set. Like you gotta respect yourself enough to be like, you know, hey, I'm not gonna allow this because that's not right. And if you don't have those morals for yourself, then it's easily accessible when something comes and put itself in your face, or you know, an opportunity grows, because like I said, every flood starts out as a puddle. You talking to a coworker about your relationship, yeah man, she you know, she went off on me last night. Oh, that's so sad. You know, I wouldn't do
anything
that.
I can do about it?
Anything. Right. And you know, that just keep on building up and building up, and you, oh, it was innocent, and all of a sudden, because you emotionally tying yourself to somebody by sharing personal information. I mean, first of all, I believe you should never talk about your relationship
to nobody
outside of, I mean, people holding you accountable, that's one thing. Like if you got some, you know, somebody who's really looking out for you, like, yeah man, that's wrong, you shouldn't have done that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's different. But the opposite sex, no, that's a no-no. Unless it's your grandma or your mama or something. Well, not even your mama, because your mama might go off.
She might not like you and be like,
Mama,
anyway.
Get out of here.
I don't like her no way.
She ain't no good. Yeah.
That would be the first thing.
Well, hey, if your mama don't like her, I don't know. Sometimes, hey, I don't
You know, I think with a woman, like for your mama, you know, your mama
Mama ain't gonna like nobody.
Yeah, she ain't gonna like nobody until like
That's
she
not
just know
true.
you gotta do the son.
That's not
like,
true, because
good.
the guys that I've dated, I've had.
I mean, they gonna be nice in front of your face, but when you
I've
behind your back,
genuine
they gonna say what they
relationships
want to say.
with them. I mean, but some of them, you know, they turn on you real quick. I don't know, but
It depends on the
depends on the
parent
person,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, the person.
it depends.
Some
but
people just crazy, and they gonna be crazy anyway, regardless if they like you or not.
yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm
but
one
you know.
of them. Crazy as shit.
I mean,
It's cool.
no, that ain't cool. You over here smiling. It's cool. No, it ain't cool.
At least let you know up front.
I mean, hey,
Like,
if
I already
you know,
had to accept myself for this craziness, so I might as well.
if you let a person do it, they okay with that. I mean, you know, hey. But no, I feel like there's, you know, you gotta set those boundaries, and if something come along as far as a relationship, you get in a relationship with somebody, you're not gonna have that trouble because you already have those moral standards set. Like, nah, like for me, like I know already, like, and anybody I talk to, like, bro, you already know if I get in a relationship, you ain't talking to me no more. Like, I'm cutting it off. You could, hey, how you doing? How's it been going? What's up? But I might not even respond to that. You know what I'm saying?
With you, like, that's rare though, because most females not doing it. Matter of fact, you can be in a relationship with them, and they gonna have relationships with
oh no,
the same type of relationships they got with you. They doing just as much with somebody
I
else
don't know
without
where
the
y'all
title.
seeing these women at.
On Facebook and
Oh.
Instagram.
You looking in the wrong place.
I'm going off of
real life.
memes that I see
Plenty of
posted.
fish.
Fuck a meme, like in real life. I seen it.
Nah, but that is like
No,
these
he's speaking
days,
from
like that's how it
personal-
is.
He's speaking from personal experience.
I seen somebody say the other day, "Hey, mama." I seen somebody say the other day, it threw me off track. But I seen somebody the other day say, like, what happened, you know, like, back in the day, a female would get mad at her boyfriend and like, you know, sit in her bed and cry and listen to music. He's like, nowadays, a
We need
female get mad at...
females back.
Yeah, like, nowadays, a female get mad at her boyfriend.
She'll go find
She go find somebody else.
That shit sucks. Go see.
Which is
In
pretty
the
much
Room
how
with
they
Y'all
God.
saying females like men don't do that. Men have women readily
Nah, like
accessible.
man, we gentle creatures and we
Oh,
just looking for love and
no, you
loyalty.
didn't.
Preach.
You talking to the wrong one.
Preach.
Because the ones that I have experienced are totally different. And I'm not even saying that every male is like that. Because I know some really good men. But
But
nah,
you know some
y'all-
really not good.
I know some really not good men that are way worse than what y'all saying about these women. So it's everybody. Like, that's just what the world has come to because people putting out these songs talking about
Sound
it's
in the
fun to
music.
cheat. It is.
I think it's because of Facebook and Instagram.
I mean,
It
everything
wasn't
is...
like that before
I'm
that.
finna
Everything
go back to
is-
listening to Johnny Taylor.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my God.
He was cheating in the next room.
Look,
Boy say
y'all,
Johnny Taylor.
Nah, man, I just feel like it's just that's what it's come to, and it shouldn't be like that. And it's rare. It's people out there. I know quite a few people who have legit relationships, but
I do too. I know somebody. One of my a friend of mine just got married like a couple weeks ago. I thought that was the craziest thing ever.
what?
Cause he never was that type
Everybody
of person.
get
but he
married
just,
now.
I guess he just met the
I'm
right.
getting married next year.
That's what's up, man. I'll be there.
You got a prospect already? You just hoping?
He just
No,
gonna grab the
I'm
first thing he see.
Oh, that's
First train
the
smoking.
problem.
First
My
train
boy said-
smoking with
That's
no
the
keys.
problem.
My boy said 1-3 take chances out here.
I
He don't care.
rose my days.
You
He going to relationships full force like first day. I love you, baby.
hey, that's
You
real.
lying, bro.
Wait,
Got
that really happened though. So
Nah, that's not me though at all. Sorry.
yeah, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more intentional about.
He don't
these
got to get to know you or nothing. He love you already.
Nothing.
Damn.
That's the true love. at
Let me
first
get
sight.
your number. First text message.
That's
I
how.
love you.
That's how these dudes approach you today. That is what's up with that? Why?
I can't.
Say, man, we
Speak
gotta
on
let
that.
y'all know it's real. It's love at first sight. How about that? Boom. That's how I'm gonna take up for them guys. So it's love at first sight. How about that?
Do they last?
I don't know.
It's a quick way to figure that out. You single right now or you in a relationship?
Right.
Who, me?
Yeah, you trying to blast us over. Oh,
I'm
really?
heavily taken.
Oh, so he is really getting married next year.
I'm taken.
I hope his lady is watching.
No, she not.
Oh, she don't exist?
Yeah, she exists.
Oh, okay.
She's just not watching.
That's kind of messed up. She don't support you.
Man, see, that's what's gonna go wrong. Lack of support. She had to drop the mic on that one.
I'm gonna stop.
No, I'm
man.
just playing. I mean, she could be busy. I'm just messing with
Is that what it is?
you. Okay,
What?
look.
Where
Let's
she
keep
at? Why
turning
she
red
not listening
over here.
right now?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Oh man.
I talked to her earlier, and that's how
All
I'm
right,
gonna talk to her
that's she
later.
gave you some pre-support. You know, that's what's
Something like that.
He thinking about it now, like, you know what? She ain't looking at it. So we watch how we gonna get in the car. He on the phone. So what you mean you couldn't have time? What? Tell me something I said on the previous Tight Room video.
What you like?
And he gonna hear me. It's all good though. I love you.
You don't support me. Nah,
Go quit the 5 more for real though.
nah. She
But,
probably is a good one.
Nah. She
Man,
was at work.
Before we run out of time, let's get into the other thing that you do besides sing, rap. I mean, I'm just playing with you. But you also a graphic designer
I
as
spit
well,
hot
right?
fire,
Let's see.
but I'm not a rapper though.
Dialing.
Super hot fire.
Super hot fire.
You need to
I'm
stay off
in
YouTube.
syrup. What?
Yes, stay off YouTube.
Why?
Because you like the YouTube queen. But yeah, your graphics. Let's speak on that.
What about it? How you gonna ask me a
supposed to speak on
question
it.
and you don't have nothing?
You can't ask me a question. You can't respond to a question with a
That
question.
wasn't a question.
I wasn't ready for that.
That
like,
wasn't
to
a question.
respond by
You leading this
being a question
interview.
asked.
That wasn't a question. So
But you're
what
a
about
graphic
your
designer. I mean, the first thing you said when we first pressed record on the interview was, I was making an album cover for somebody, and they was like, "Well, you look like you can sing."
No, I don't look like I can sing. Do I look like I can sing? No.
Not really, but
How you look like you can sing?
Do he look like he can sing?
He does.
I can't sing worth shit.
He look like he would. He look like he would pull out some smooth like.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but damn, I can't. Ooh,
He'll probably be more like a Frank Ocean.
you. Oh. God damn, bro. Don't give me Frank Ocean.
Good now.
Out of all people.
Back to
Nigga, that one more, bro. Oh, loud,
What's
bro.
wrong with Franco?
Y'all got similar talents, bro.
Hell nah. Fuck no.
He's upset.
I'm upset. I'm
He's
highly
really
mad
upset.
right
All right, Young Thug. All right, so back to the
This nigga here, bro.
That's for not speaking in granny.
That's cool. We'll take
Ah, man.
it. All right, little B.
What do you call yourself? The bass guard. The bass guard. Yeah, well, back to this graphics. First, I gotta say, man, appreciate you for our graphics. You know what I'm saying? Everybody been asking me about the
The new
logos and
logo?
all that stuff. This
Hey,
is the
that
person
shit is
behind it
awesome.
right here. So
That
y'all
shit
stop
is
blowing
awesome.
me up about it and get on her case. You know what I'm saying? But is that something that you like? That you interested in doing too, like as well as with the music, like man, I'm gonna do all my music and I'm gonna do all my graphics and all this stuff and get 100% of my money.
For myself?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna spend money where I don't have to. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I do. I brand people. I help people. You know, develop their brand through their look or whatever they're trying to market, and you know, pushing that content out and all that stuff. So I really haven't branded I started branding myself. Of course I have a brand, but I really haven't pushed it because you know I really had to kind of like sit back and think if this was something I really wanted to do.
The music.
Yeah. And so
So is it something that you really want to do now?
oh yeah, like the more I write and the more I've been working on this EP and just everything and just the love that I've been getting and people really telling me like how inspired they are and stuff like that, like I realized like, you know, I really want to do this. Like I always had a heart for music. I've always written, I've always sang in my closet, in the shower. Never in front of people, but I definitely like have developed an even deeper drive for it and you know passion for it now that I have a purpose behind what I'm doing.
Right. So upon completion of your first project, like what do you expect? Like what do you want to gain from releasing this project?
Really, it's not even like I want to say I want people to enjoy the music, which I do. I really want people to enjoy the music, but I more so want people to be able to relate and to be encouraged by it and to see who I am as a person, because I feel like that's going to really set the platform for everything else that I do. Like every other project, every other single, every other song, album, whatever I, you know, do next, that's really going to set the platform for me as a person, like you getting to know me as a person so that you can really connect with my music. And so I feel like, you know, everybody can relate in some way, even if they're, you know, not necessarily going through that or have been through that, but they've been through some type of situation that's similar. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you having a hard time, like going through something. It may not be a relationship. It may not be, you know, whatever. Because the stuff I'm talking about, it has to do with relationships, not just like man, woman, but, you know, relationships with my parents, with friends, with, you know, anybody. Like it could be anybody, and how that's affected my life. And so, you know, I think that people can relate to that, and I want it to really just open people's eyes, to give them a new perspective, to help them to see, like, maybe what they're dealing with and really seek that out instead of just going on with their life. Like, man, this is just how I roll. Like, this is just what I've been doing. This is just how things have been going. Like, I'm going to just keep cheating, or I'm going to just keep taking this abuse, or I'm going to just keep, you know, whatever it may be. I really hope that it encourages people to, you know, come up out of that stuff or change, you know, and
Right.
Be able to relate.
All right, so where can people find you at? Like contact you or hit you up, listen to your music, all that good stuff.
Everything is on my website. Everything is housed on my website, so you can get to anything by that. You can hit it up, nalarose.com, nalarosemusic.com, either way. And then also you can follow me on Instagram at Nala Rose Music, Twitter, everything is Nala Rose Music, Facebook, Nala Rose Music, everything is that. So I'm on all social media. Hit me up.
Just at Nala Rose Music, and it's destined to come up.
There it go. There it be. You can Google
outside.
It's going down.